I'm Mrs. Rekha Asant, Assistant Professor of English, Government First Grade College, Kavur, Mangalore. The novel Nampally Road by Meena Alexander is prescribed for BBA Sem 4 of Mangalore University with the text title Compulsory Foundation Course in English. Now we are in chapter 8, A Dark Room, session 25. Before going to this chapter, let's have a quick recap of chapter 7, Her Fever. The little mother's sickness was compared to the agony and the happenings in Hyderabad, where common people are also struggling. They are also fighting for their rights. They are protesting against the violence under the administration of Limca Gowda. Little mother, she even used to get nightmares and found parallels in the stagnant and equally violent atmosphere of the city. She had become pale because of high fever, constantly thought of the burning police station, and unconsciously chatted with her mother. She even was haunted by the picture of the little boy whose brain was chewed up by maggots and Ramit Zabing's dead husband. With the treatment of Ranga Reddy, she was coming to the normal condition. And outside, the roads were barricaded because of the critical situation. Women and children were not allowed to go out of the house as there was chances of announcing the curfew. Few months later, little mother told Meera of her dreams, the unrest which was creeping through the city. And she also dreamt that she was running down Nampally Road, and she had least idea about why she was running. And with a coincidence, Meera also had a dream. Both dreamt of the burning of the police station and about Ramiza. The curfew forced to cancel all the college classes at the Sona Nivas. Saga Takis cancelled its evening shows. Marketplace was closed. But only sound was heard of the preparation of Limca Gowda's birthday. Meera was in a tensed mood as she didn't get any message from Ramu. Both Meera and the little mother waited for Ramu's call. Chandrika, a very bold student of Meera, she realized the condition of the poor people during the curfew and how the people suffered even to get the firewood before the curfew hours. She analyzed the situation and said that the capitalist systems were falling apart and the people are ready to protest against the rule of Limca Gowda. Chandrika saw that the people, the troubled people, the questions in their mind, they were trying to channelize their rage Little mother, who wanted to know about Ramu, asked Meera about his whereabouts, but Meera had no answer for it. Meera told her about her dream that she had the previous night, where she was clutching the edge of the pyramid made of pretty old bricks, and the bricks had come to life and made the human flesh, and they had voices. And she also saw the water was lit with fire. It invaded the whole pool of water, and she heard the crying voices of flesh, which was unbearable. They saw the whole city was driven into unrest. Voices were heard from the rubber factory. In order to take away their minds from this disturbance, little mother takes Meera to her past days, where her house was under construction, where there was no Saga Takis, no Feroz Gandhi Park. Her mother cooked special dishes, and her father was found always traveling and or sometimes at Nizam's palace. Even she talked about her sister Savitri Bai, once who had been to Nizam's palace to deliver his fourth wife's baby, where the baby had born dead, but her sister brought back the child to life with the mouth-to-mouth breathing. For her life-saving service, she was showered with a handful of gold sovereigns. This is how the family held in a high esteem. Later, Meera followed Ramu to the police station, where they came to hear that Ramiza Bey was taken in care of Pitodla Bai's daughter's house, who was Apothecary's maternal uncle. Durga Bai later reveals that she lost her father because he had a massive cardiac arrest. That chapter 7 comes to an end with Durga Bai sensing the image of her father and her husband entering the room. Now we are in chapter 8, A Dark Room, session 25. We are in session 25 of chapter 8. The chapter, A Dark Room, starts with Rani, the fat servant in the house of Durga Bai, who had disappeared, suddenly reappears from nowhere and calls Meera and Durga Bai to the dining table. Rani saying that Laura is packing up her luggage to go to Canada because of the disruption and her husband's Henry's torture. She wants to go to her sister's place. Rani is sure of the promise made by Laura Ribaldo, who had promised her to take to Calgary City in Canada once she gets settled there. Laura seemed to be packing up her whole world to carry away and having tears in her eyes. Sujit Sen the special broadcaster of the radio announced the good news of lifting up the curfew and the arrangements made for the grand festivities are getting planned. Sujit Singh described the great platforms and archways being raised at the outskirts of the public gardens for the peasants. Everything getting arranged for the grand celebration of Limca Gowda's birthday. Thousands of peasants are being transported in lorries to add the voices to those of the citizens of Hyderabad in order to proclaim Limca Gowda as the great leader. Thousands of peasants were brought from far off places to add to the voices of Hyderabad to shout that Limca Gowda as the great leader. Here, the woman's voice was subsided by the high-pitched wailing sound of ever-ready men. And even the firing leaders of conspiracy had been arrested near King Koti. The other side of the celebration, the voices of the revolutionists, activists were being subsided. The voice of victim was being controlled, and it was told that the people who were arrested were carrying arms hidden in their dhotis and was suspected that the arms had been smuggled by terrorists in the north and announced rewards for capturing suspicious people. It was all the plan of Limca Gowda to subside the voices of the revolutionists, the protesters. People joyfully went back to their work after the curfew was removed. School children tossed their orange pips in the air, but Ramu arrived looking worn out, tensed, and sleepless. Everyone on the street was rejoicing except Ramu, who was in a tense mood, who took Meera to the courtyard, the other road which leads to King Koti. In an auto rickshaw, they reached a whole shanty town with huts, where they found a person peeping behind the wall who was none other than the Kabaddi master, who had led the people to the police station in order to free Ramizabe from the police custody. Thus, a Kabaddi master, he led them past mud walls through a small passage, stepping over a thin stream of water which appeared like sulfur or Ukraine. With this, session 25 comes to an end. If you would like to have further reading, you can go to the compulsory foundation course in English for the BBA degree program, SEM 4.